Good evening, class. In this uh, asynchronous lecture that we are going to have for um, managerial economics. As of this time, we are already in module 4. That in this module, we will be uh, scheduling also another exam, a combination of module 4 and module 3, because module module 2 and module 1 we have one exam, and that as I said, I'm going to really give that over the course of this Christmas break, but that will be taken at your own pace. Okay, as I said, I'm going to post the schedule and all other I would say modification on the or harmonizing all instructions for the learning task that we are having, so that the learning task as well as other assignments shouldn't interfere with your Christmas break. Okay, so this time we will have the lecture on module 4. Hopefully we will wind up everything in module 4 today, so that what needs to be discussed, what remains to be discussed, will be module 5 and module 6. And if we still have time, we would be able to discuss on module 7. But then again, I am pretty sure that uh, we are on track. I am pretty sure also that we would be able to discuss even up to module 7 or an introductory of module 8. Okay, because we have until February as our schedule for this course. Now this time we will proceed with our lecture on module 4, which is competitive, monopolistic, and monopolistically competitive markets. In other words, this is a lecture. The whole stretch of this lecture will actually be talking about market structure. Okay, market structure. There we will discuss on the three very important market structure. No, so that is this is the part of module 4. Now, in real situations, okay, in real situation, industries and firms differ with respect to their underlying structure. Okay, in terms of and also in conduct and performance. Now, this section will address on both perfectly competitive and monopolistic market, and then we twist a little bit to discuss on a uh, a, a typically monopolistic market, but with a cloak, with a semblance of a perfectly competitive market also. In other words, we are going to I'm going to walk you through a certain deviation, that a certain market structure that is in between, okay, in between, almost like a variation of a monopolistic market having an appearance of a purely competitive market. So that is very important, no? So firstly, we discuss here is on a perfectly competitive markets. What are perfectly competitive markets? Okay, a market that is characterized as follows bears a semblance of a purely competitive market or perfectly competitive market. Number one is there are many buyers and sellers in the market. That is perfectly competitive market. Each of which has small or has no has relative. Each of which shall be small relative to the market. In other words, there is no single player who is very influential, who can really command the whole dynamics within the market. In other words, they are free to compete, and not a single one of them can really be more influential than the other. Okay. Now, another characteristic of a pure competitive market is it is a market that is selling or producing undifferentiated product. If we may simplify, unbranded, undifferentiated, unsorted, ungraded, or something like that. But it's more of the object or the subject of differentiation. Products can be differentiated in terms of brand, in terms of label, and several other differentiations. But in a purely competitive market, there is no such differentiation. For example, if you sell, like for example, rice in bilao or in a basket in the wet market, there is no differentiation. The kind of rice sold by one retailer and the kind of rice sold by the other retailer has no difference from the minds and concepts of the customer, unless otherwise it is packed, it is branded, it is labeled. Then that's now the the starting point of an attempt to differentiate one from the other. But in a purely competitive market, it is undifferentiated product. Basically, these are products that are, I would say, primary. In other words, fresh product. Pichay, vegetables, no? These are undifferentiated product, fresh product. And another thing is no information asymmetry. What is that? No information asymmetry. What what the buyer knows, the seller knows also in terms of product, quality, and price. In other words, no one has any control of the information. There is free flowing of information in terms of price and quality specification. Okay. Now, another thing is in a purely competitive market or perfectly competitive market, no transactions cost. Okay, what is a transaction cost? It is a cost that is going to be incurred, which actually represents cost of using market mechanism. In other words, the the this particular cost is unnecessary cost if buyers and sellers have free flowing of uh, market information. There is no restrictions. There is no inhibitions. There are no barriers in terms of market information, product and market information. But in the real sense, there are situations that creates barriers. Okay, but in a purely competitive market, there are no barriers in terms of the flow of information from the buyer to the seller. Another thing is there is free entry and exit from a market. For example, if you engage in agriculture, with if you are a farmer, it's very easy to enter into production agriculture, enter into what kind of crops are you going to plant. Free, okay? That is very free. Unlike in a different kinds of market, you have to think twice, thrice, or even 5 times. You have to think it over before you decide on entering the market because there are lots of barriers before entering there. Okay, so in a purely competitive market, you can uh, you can say it's a now you see now you don't kind of situation. Okay, free flow no, but free flowing of entry and exit in the market. Now we talk about how is demand in the market in a purely competitive or perfectly competitive market determined. Okay, the market demand in a perfectly competitive market is horizontal. Okay, horizontal. If say for example, uh, this one. Okay, this the equilibrium point is what we call as the socially optimal price. It is the price that the willingness of the customer is matched by the willingness of the seller in being able to supply or buy that particular unit of product. But you see, in a purely competitive market, each one of you as a buyer and seller face the same say equilibrium point. Now, since there are many of you in the market, very many seller and buyer in the market, normally the total market demand is actually equal to the summation of all market players, player A, player B, player C, and so on and so forth and such and so. In other words, the aggregate demand that you actually uh, also generate in the market, all of you who are buyers and sellers, the total aggregate volume is actually equivalent to the market demand that can be expected in the market. That's why it's horizontal. It's almost like perfectly elastic kind of demand in the market. Why? Why should it be horizontal? And it is following. It is projected at the price line. It is horizontal and it is projected at the price line. There are economic intuitions to that. One is now each buyer and seller face the same price. Okay, you face the same price level. No one, if mangoes sold in this particular stall is 100 per kilo, the next neighbor or adjacent seller of same mangoes actually will not sell at maybe 120 or maybe 101 or something like that. You sell at the same price. Okay, when you sell at the same price, you also have to face the same. For example, you have to also to face the same like market, and then it is horizontal because the buyers are actually price taker and even the sellers. Whatever is the price in the market, it is the one that will be followed. Okay, you cannot price cut, you cannot overprice, otherwise you bear the consequence of not being be able to generate the necessary benefit or profit in the market. Okay, or you endanger everybody of price war, which is already very detrimental to everybody. Okay, so that is the reason why it is perfectly elastic or horizontal. You will notice that price is actually defines demand. It's horizontal, so that means to say demand line is actually equal to the price line because consumers and even suppliers are price taker. They're price taker. They cannot influence the price. Whatever is the price, mao na ilang subayon. Okay, and then there is market transaction if everybody obeys. Okay, therefore the demand curve faced by the individual firm is perfectly elastic. Why? Firms are price takers. They can only sell outputs at the price charged by all other competitors. Okay, whenever faced with any type of market structure, there are two important business and economic decisions. Let me repeat that. Whenever faced with uh, any type of market structure, whether it is perfectly competitive or monopolistic market, there are two important decisions that should be taken into consideration. One is pricing decision, and the other one is output decision. What is the price? What is the output? Okay, that is very important in any type of market. Okay, now in a pricing decision under perfectly competitive pricing decision, recall that P is equals to demand or price is equals to demand. Why? Because the demand curve is actually following the price line. Okay, within the price line. So the value at that equilibrium point at the price line is actually the demand also of that particular customer. Then they can only sell, sorry, they can sell only at a price equal to P. Therefore, pricing is based on what is existing in the market. Each firm face the same price. Hence, in a perfectly competitive market, P is equal to D or demand, market demand. Okay, that's one condition. Very important. What about output decision? Now, to answer this, we need to know how the level of profit defined under PCM or perfectly competitive market. Sometimes they say purely competitive market, but it is used interchangeably, purely or perfectly competitive market. Remember that there are two components of profit. What are the two components of profit? TR or total revenue and TC, which is total cost. Now, in total revenue, we know already that you have total revenue is price times Q or quantity. You multiply the price, you pay, times the quantity, then you get total revenue or gross sales. Okay. Now, the cost. The cost here is a function of Q. Okay. Whenever you whenever you generate certain volume, you also incur cost. That means to say the cost is a function of Q. Okay. Now, that is very important. TR and TC. Very important that. Take note that in output decision, you need to know what is the TR, what is the TC. Total revenue and total cost. Now, proceeding a little further, you have from total revenue, we can derive the marginal revenue. Okay? How? How are we going to derive the marginal revenue? The marginal revenue is just the first derivative. Okay? It is just the first derivative of your total revenue with respect to Q or cost. Okay? With respect to cost. Now let me just kind of uh, derive that argument in a while using the perfectly competitive market. MR, as defined, is the change in R or change in revenue. Okay? Attributable to the last unit of output. Okay? Let me just rephrase that. Ang imong revenue or total revenue is actually uh, attributable, no, to the last unit of output na nadugang sa imong production or selling process. Okay? Since each unit, since each unit of output can be sold at a market price P, for every unit that is going to be added to your revenue or to your cost, or particular to your revenue, because we are talking on to MR here, every unit of every unit of units purchased or demanded or sold pananglitan by certain person is actually attributable to the value of the last unit that is added. Since each unit of output can be sold at the market price P, okay, this is just a qualitative narratives, no? Can be sold at market price P, then each unit added is equivalent to the value or the price per unit of that item. Okay? So MR under purely competitive market is actually equal to P. Let me repeat that. MR in purely perfectly competitive market is actually equal to P. Why? Because MR, which is the change in revenue for every unit added, now that unit added, the value of that unit is actually equal to P or price. Hence, MR is equals to P under perfectly competitive market. So here we have this particular, shall we say, analytical derivation. You have PQ, okay? RQ is equals to PQ is equals to TR, okay? Is equals to TR. If you get the first derivative or the partial derivative of TR with respect to Q, which is this one, MR, partial of TR with respect to Q is actually equal to P. No? Straightforward. Now, therefore, the next thing is we have to consider, no? We have to consider on the profit maximization of profit. Okay? Uh, R and TC, and we also have a consideration about what is the optimum profit. Okay. Under PCM, we have already derived this, or yeah, P is equals to D is equals to MR, right? I hope there's no argument with this. P is equals to D because straight ang iyang demand curve along the price line, and P is also equal to MR because every last unit added to your revenue is actually equal to the value of your price or the price, monetary price of that particular item. Then what about cost component? Okay, what about cost component? This is derivable from the profit equation or from the cost equation. Okay? If you have TR is equals to PQ and then partial derivative of TR with respect to Q is MR, then in TC, okay, in TC, the partial derivative of total cost, okay, the partial derivative of total cost is with respect to Q is actually MC or marginal cost. This is very important condition that we need to take into account. Now, if you are going to compute for the marginal, or shall I say the optimum profit, given that you have solved for the MR and the MC, we go to the equation of profit. Profit equation, or pi star, is actually equal to the you have TR star and minus TC star. What is star here? That star resembles optimal level. Okay, optimal revenue and optimal cost. Okay, how are we going to solve for the optimal revenue and the optimal cost to obtain the optimal profit, or the optimized profit? Simple. Now, in like you have say equation for profit. You have profit equation is equals to TR star minus TC star. Now, TR is actually equivalent to P times Q star. Okay, and then minus C as a function of Q star. Okay, optimal Q. Okay, that means you have here the optimal profit is actually PQ star minus C as a function of Q star. Now, if you go to the derivation or digression of how are we going to compute for like optimal Q, okay? How are we going to compute for optimal Q? Now, we will discuss that in a short while. You have here in under revenue equation, the first derivative of what? The first derivative of TR with respect to Q, which is this one, okay, is actually equal to P minus this one. Okay? In other words, the whole equation profit as solved simultaneously, we get the derivative, okay? We get the total derivative of profit so that we can get for the optimal Q. Okay? How? We say the partial the derivative, the total derivative of pi with respect to Q is actually equal to P minus derivative of C as a function of Q over dQ. Equate that to 0. Why is this becoming P? Sorry. We have solved that actually. First derivative of TR with respect to Q, that is P. We have solved that a while ago. No? A while ago. This one. That one. Here. We have solved that. No? So here we have, to solve for optimality, we get the first derivative. Okay, we get the first derivative of pi star and equate that to 0, where this quantity dc as a function of q with respect to dq is actually, this one is actually mc. Okay, mc. So solve for optimal q by equating the everything to 0. But first, we need to understand the conceptual diagram. How are we going to justify our equation? Now, in this graph, okay, this is a graph where we can graphically illustrate or picture out. Okay, we can graphically illustrate or picture out the intuitive or the theoretical basis of why we solve our Q, optimal Q, at that particular point. Okay, here we know that in a perfectly competitive market, profit is maximum at the point where P is equals to D is equals to MR is equals to MC. Okay, maunay condition for profit maximization. No, that means to say if you can satisfy that condition, then that is the point where profit is maximum, or that is the point where the Q projected at that particular level is actually equal to the optimal Q. In this graph, where is the where in this graph can we satisfy this condition? Where in this graph? Okay. First, we need to answer that. Okay. You have, this is your MC and this is your MR. Remember, this is the price line. Okay. The price line here, D, okay, P is equals to D is equals to MR. Okay. That means to say, kaning a portion satisfied ni by the price line. Okay. The price line satisfies the first three conditions. What about this one, MC? Where in this graph can we satisfy this condition that the 3 will be equal to this? Okay. Well, at this point, for example, it's not, because that is the total average total cost. It's not the marginal cost. The marginal cost at this time is nowhere. It's already outside of the quadrant. No. Now let's take, for example, here. Now this is not the point where equal with D is equals to MR, because this is average total cost. The only condition that satisfies that is this condition here, or is this point here, where MR is equals to P is equals to D is equals to MC. Kana siya nga point. Okay, why? Because it is found at the intersection point. Okay, that means this is the only point where it satisfies these four conditions. Okay, kana siya nga point. Now, that point, projecting it downward, that is our what? That is our optimal Q, or optimum quantity of output to be produced in order to maximize profit. Okay? Or you might say optimize profit, because you use the optimal Q. Q beyond this point is suboptimal. If you put Q here, so you will not satisfy this condition, because MC is not equal to MR equal to PD is not equal to price. Okay? It is only at this particular point. Now, what is the twist here? Okay. What is the twist here? Which means that under a perfectly competitive market, MR is equals to P is equals to D. That is given in perfectly competitive market. But what is very relevant for our analytical procedure is to find for that point where MC is equals to MR. Kung equal sa MR, ang MC, that means equal to P, equal po na sa D, because it follows in perfectly competitive market. So what is relevant argument in perfectly competitive market is MR is equals to MC. Okay? MR is equals to MC. If you can pinpoint that particular point, then you can generate the optimal Q. I'm going to give you an example. Okay. Given this equation, just to be able to analytically practice our understanding at this point, you have given that the cost function is actually equal to 5 plus Q squared. Okay, that is the cost function, 5 plus Q squared. And then you have here, price is in the market is 20 pesos. And the cost function is this one, no? 5 plus Q squared. Now the question is, what is the optimum output and profit? Compute for optimum output, or in other words, the Q star, and also the pi star, or the optimum profit. So how to solve that? Now I could derive you, if this were a face-to-face, like for example, class, I can derive you using the whiteboard or whatever method there is. But in here, I just would like to give you a narrative of the solution steps to simplify this. And maybe you can also practice this at home, so that you would be able to really experience and learn for yourself the algorithm or the solution steps how it is applying also the concept of like maximum or optimal profit. No, the solution step for here is that first you equate MR is equals to MC. The question is, if you say MR, what is MR here in the given? MR is 20. Why? Because P is equals to D equals MR. So that means MR is already 20. You don't need to solve for MR. MR is given 20. Okay. If you were given, in this case, if you were given the R equation, you have to extract the derivative of like R or TR with respect to Q. Then you can get the MR. In this case, price is given. So price in perfectly competitive market is equals to MR equals to demand. So no need of solving. The other one is MC. Equate MR. In other words, equate price with MC. What is our MC? MC here is solvable or derivable from TC or from cost function. Sorry, from cost equation, which is actually from the cost equation, which is actually 5 plus Q square. So na diha nagtago ang MC. So how to get MC in this case? MC, you get the partial derivative of Q, or sorry, C cost with respect to Q. Okay? The partial derivative of Q with respect to C with respect to Q is what? Orally, you can solve that. It's actually what? 2Q. This becomes 5 becomes 0, and this one becomes 2Q. Okay? 2 minus 1, 1. That's the power 1. That is 2Q. Equate that to price. Okay? You get, equate that to price, MC is equals to MR, then you get the Q star. Okay? Listen to that quick derivation. MR is equals to MC. Then, as soon as you can get the optimal Q by equating the MC here with 20, okay? If we are going to equate that with our orally, if you by just viewing the MC here or the optimal Q is actually equal to 10. Verify that by solving it yourself. Okay, by looking at the equation. Now, after getting the optimal Q, substitute the optimal Q to the profit equation to get the profit star or pi star. Okay? Remember that solution step. Tagaan mo na kung answer daan, optimal Q is equals to 10 or 20 over 2. Okay. Okay. Verify the solution by solving it yourself, following the solution steps, and then you are on the right track. Now, another situation for perfectly competitive market. One very important assumption under perfectly competitive market is there is free entry and exit among firms in the market. Why mo harang nimo? Why mo walay mo ali nimo gusod ka sa perfectly competitive market? You can get in now and you can get in out tomorrow. There's no problem. Nobody will prevent you from doing that. Okay? Even yourself, you can enter and exit anytime. Okay? Now, what is then the long run equilibrium of perfectly competitive market? The long run equilibrium, in other words, long run equilibrium will mean murag wala na bay mosulod mugawas ana nga market. Equilibrium na. Murag steady na siya gyud. Wala na mosulod, wala na poy mugawas. Inyo na diha. It has reached its measured capacity kung tawagin, no? Kana nga market. That is what we call as long run equilibrium. Kung napang gani mosulod mugawas ana nga market, ana nga commodity market, then it has not attained long run equilibrium or it has not attained the measured capacity of the market. Theoretically, it can happen, but in real situation, there are variations to that. Okay, but the analytics behind it will attain long run equilibrium if all conditions are satisfied. That is, like for example, in this particular topic, if economic profit is 0, then there is what we call as an attainment of equilibrium, long run equilibrium. What do we mean by economic profit equal to zero. Okay? What is economic profit equal to zero? In this case, I'm going to give you the graph, okay? And two types of graph, this one and this one. This is actually the graph of a perfectly competitive profit maximization graph. Okay? So here, you know that already the maximum profit is at the point where MR is equals to MC at this point. That is your Q star. Now, remember, if this is your marginal line, okay, marginal cost line rather, your total cost, okay, the total cost that you will incur if you enter into this industry or market is this kanini anggi butangan o shadow kani siya, or yeah, kaning mga kanina ay mga baglis no, kani siya. This is your this is the cost line kani dinhi, take note, this is the cost line, wala na to nakalabili, and it is the price line. Now, kani dinhing gibutangan og shading is actually the level of profit. That means the price minus the cost is equals to this kani siya nga shaded area. Now, in the long run equilibrium, okay, in long run equilibrium, this profit available, the economic profit will be squeezed to its bare minimum or even zero, which is barely located at this particular graph. Na-squeeze nimo ang iyang available profit, siguro daghanay ning sulod dito ang negosyo, nya wala na gyud, eksakto na lang yun ninyo ang economic profit, which is at this point. Okay? Now this graph is a graph showing economic profit is equals to zero, which is, this is also the economic Q star. Okay? Economic Q star, or the Q level of Q where profit is, or economic profit is zero. Remember, economic profit is different from accounting profit because economic profit has two components. One is the explicit cost and the implicit cost, or the opportunity cost. Okay? That means to say, at this particular point, all costs have been paid. Dire, naapay certain, the opportunity cost is still napa, okay pa, profitable pa kaayo. And then ngari, na-squeeze na tanan. Nobody is going to be interested to enter into the industry because that industry has reached its measured capacity. Okay? Now, in that case, there is a theoretical question. The long-run equilibrium in a perfectly competitive market is reached when pi is actually, economic pi is actually equal to zero, or economic sense, which means P is equals to MC and P is equal to the minimum AC. Look at that. This is your MC, this is your AC or ATC. The ATC is here and the MC is here. That means when the firm or the industry reaches the long run equilibrium, it is no longer what matters is already the ATC, which is the minimum point of your ATC or AC, equating with the price. Okay. Now, does this mean that when economic profit is squeezed to zero, does this mean it is the break-even point? Take note of that question. But for a moment, take note also that price, in this case, if P is just equal to the minimal point of the ATC or average cost, which means that P is just enough to pay opportunity cost of all resources used in the production process. That means when profit is equals to zero, you are able to pay for the explicit cost, which is the accounting cost, and you are also able to pay for the opportunity cost, or even the expected return to capital or cost of capital or other types of opportunity cost. That is located at the minimum point of the average cost. All economies of scale has been exhausted. If all sources of economies of scale has been exhausted, wala nang gimusulod ang industry. Wa na mo gawas, wa na poy mo ano. Otherwise, ug na mo gawas, na economic profit ma-form. Lamyon dito sa uban nga mga naadian nga firm or others will enter. Okay? Now, question again. Does this mean the firms operating at break-even point? The answer is no. Accounting profit is enough to offset explicit cost, and also at that point, it is able to pay both explicit and implicit cost. That means, bayad tanang gasto. Okay, bayad tanang gasto, hasta opportunity cost. Then, it's still profitable, although, kung napay uban mo enter, wala na. Di na pwede kay low equilibrium na ang kwan. Nothing can attract others to enter because the market is saturated already. That is the long run equilibrium for your perfectly competitive market. Remember, economic profit is zero is not actually the same, or does not actually mean that the industry is experiencing break-even point. It's different. Okay. What have we accomplished so far? In the perfectly competitive market, the relevant decision is the price and output decision. The price, which refers to MR, and then the optimal profit, which actually is located at the point where MR is equals to MC. Okay? If you are given the equation for cost, and you are also given the price level, you can find for the optimal Q and optimal profit, or even optimal, optimal price. No? Now, here we have the next type of market structure, which is monopolistic type. What is a monopolistic market? A monopolistic market is a market having a single firm serving the entire market for good. Okay? Single firm operating in any situation, and like there is no other one selling that particular good in any particular market situation. Under monopolistic market, it is essential to emphasize the relevant market for the product. Now, di na nagpasabot nga ang gamay nga firm, no? Di na nagpasabot nga ang gamay nga firm or negosyo, bisag gamay ra siya, di siya pwede mo-monopolize. No. Because monopolistic situation is regardless of scale of operation of the firm, but it refers to relevant presence in the market. Kung ikaw orang usa tindahan diya sa inyong baryo, you are monopolizing the market. Actually, that's why others will be attracted. Uy, halinan na sila. Musulod ko ng uban, di na ka monopoly, ana. Pero ikaw rin yung usa, nagbaligya o usa ka butang di anang ko, ana. Ikaw rin na maligid gasolina. Then ikaw rin ang kuan. Even in a particular, like municipality, if you are the only one selling gasoline in that gasoline station, ikaw rin, relevant to your market size, you are a monopolistic firm. Okay? So I said, this does not have any bearing on the scale or size of the firm, but on whether there are other firms selling close substitute for the good in a given market. Okay? An example of this, gasoline station or gas station in a local town. Kung ikaw rin yung usa diha, monopolize ni mo na diha sa inyo. No? Now, another is electric power provider, like LeEco, as a LeEco 4, for example, or LeEco 5. Ang market share, yun, ang provider. Okay? Or any other situation. Kung ikaw ra das inyong baryo vulcanizing, kuan sa mo-bulkit og ligid, rendering or providing vulcanizing services, then you monopolize the market. Ikaw rang usa kanang naay internet cafe, you monopolize the market. Okay? That is something. Bisan pag gamay ra, bisan pag tulo ra kabuk imong computer, pero ikaw ra kung usa sa inyong baryo, you monopolize the market. That's why pas-pas ka mo expand kay di ka kaako sa market. Okay? Now, that is a monopolistic market. Now, in a monopolistic market, just like in purely competitive market, it is very essential to know the market demand. To know the market demand of a monopolistic market. Now, the market demand of the monopolistic market is actually the following the demand of an individual firm. Okay? It is the market demand for a monopolistic firm is actually the monopolist is facing a downward sloping demand curve. Why? Siya ramang usa. Unlike sa perfectly competitive market, daghan mo. So, kung pila tong ila, mao ay market demand. Pero karon, ikaw ramang usa, then whatever is the price offered, ana pud musubay ang demand sa market kay ikaw ramang usa. So nara ka din mo ni ang market demand kay ikaw ramang usa diha sa market. Okay? So butangan nimo na og supply diha and then you get the the market demand at that particular price. Butangan mo na nimo nag supply, you get also the market demand for that particular price. Okay? So sloping downward ang demand curve sa monopolist. Now, the market demand curve for monopolist is not perfectly elastic. It does not have unlimited market power also. And still, why there is no unlimited power? Because the customer there has a behavioral or has a freedom kung mupalit ba sila ang price, kung dili ba. Okay? Mupalit ba sila na, kung dili ba. So that means the downward sloping in demand curve. It is still the customer who decides how much to buy. That's why mo play around ang oh? O gusto sa monopolist nga dalhon ka dire, na strategy ang monopolist. Kung di sila mo palit dire, ari gusto ang kuan, mapugos pug monopolist mo offer dire. Kung dili niya kaya ma-entice ang customer nga ari dire mo palit. Okay? Kung mauna din ang level of demand, moingon ang monopolist, hayro na to si Piolo Pascual para mapugos sila nga ma-convince sila ni Piolo Pascual nga ari dire mo palit nga price. Nga mauni ang atong presyo. Depende na sa monopolist or whoever is the influential person in the or influential firm in the market. No? So, it's still the customer who decides how much to buy. Okay. Now, before we proceed on how profit and optimal quantity is determined, we would like to just make a quick review of unsa may mga sources of monopolistic power. Okay? What are the sources of monopolistic power? One source is economies of scale. Kung super dako na kaayo diha sa market and you have exhausted all sources of economies of scale, mamonopoly nimo ang market. Why? It is very difficult to compete with you because you have consumed. It is so large nga ang competitor mag-think twice. Kung di niya kaya ang capital requirement, di gud siya mo compete nimo. So you have a virtual monopoly on that industry. Okay? So just like for example, energy business or telecommunications business, wala pag gilaing hibalo og unsaon pag himo og kuan pag invest diha. Ikaw ra gyud mahimo ang monopoly, no? Usually the this kind of monopoly, these are business that incur or requires huge capitalization. No? All sources of economies of scale are exhausted. Another is economies of scope also can be a source of monopolistic power. That means you have attained a certain efficiency where you produce multiple products with the same level of cost, using the same level of cost. When TC of producing 2 or more products with the same firm, within the same firm is lower when produced separately. Okay? So you have, you can offer like, ano, minimal cost against your competitor. Okay? Because you spread out on in several different products. Like, for example, ano, multiply or the process kag mango, the mango can be processed into puree, dried mangoes, you have mango juice, several other products. Or coconut, it may, it is also another situation. So you produce multiple products and then you incur the same level of cost. That means to say, you economize on the cost and it is difficult to compete with you. Another source of monopolistic power is you have cost complementarity. Okay, very close example for cost complementarity is that one firm actually closely relates with another firm in order to be able to incur or uh, become more efficient in the manufacturing operation. Like for example, in Pasar and Pelcos. Okay? Now, in Pasar, the phosphoric acid of copper is melting. Now, the phosphoric acid or hydrochloric acid produced in the smelting of copper or even gold in Pasar actually is a raw material or a basic like material for manufacture of phosphatic fertilizer for Pelpos using HCl and rock phosphate. Okay? So makaproduce sila fertilizer gikan sa waste. Kay waste naman na sa copper smelting ang phosphoric acid. Hence, if you have this particular complementation with each other, then you become a virtual monopolist. Why? It is difficult to duplicate your tandem or your relationship. Otherwise, magtukod po kag imong kaugalingong copper smelter para makahimo og fertilizer company. No. Pilpos and Pasar, that's why government yun na nag-organize diyan para ang waste sa Pasar and will be used for raw material for Pilpos, the manufacture of fertilizer. So that the cost is minimal on the part of Pilpos, and then likewise, the cost also incurred by Pasar in smelting can be compensated to some extent by a certain amount of money paid by Pilpos to Pasar. So in other words, they complement each other. Okay, they complement each other. In that case, it's difficult to compete with you because of this complementarity relationship. Another source of uh, monopolistic power would be patents and legal barriers. Okay? Kung nakapatent na siya, di na nimo pwede kumpyahon. So mahimo na siyang patent, actually say, source of monopolistic power. Ikaw ra gyud nakahimo. For example, ang relationship between like kanini ang before ang relationship between Samsung Corporation kaning sa appliance o kaning sa Sony Corporation. Ang ang chips nga gigamit for like LCD nga chips gigamit sa Samsung, manufactured by Samsung and patented by Samsung, is actually the same chips used by Sony. And Sony buys it from Samsung or has a patent from, pays the patent of Samsung. Whenever Sony manufactures it, digital television, mubayad sila og royalty sa Samsung because inventor man to, ang Samsung may naka-invent ng technology. So that there is what we call as that particular type of product is a monopoly of Samsung because of the patent. Okay? Likewise, kung ikaw naka-invento ang certain product, you can be a monopolist of that product exclusive authority to manufacture within certain number of years, so you become a virtual monopolist. If others manufacture the same item, they cannot do that without paying a royalty to you. So that can be source of monopolistic power. No? But as I said, these are the government can regulate along that line. Okay. Now, having known those different situations by which a uh, a market will turn out to be a monopolistic market, economics of scale, economics of scope, and others, we are now ready to understand the pricing and output decision in a monopolistic market. Ano mang gyud nga ang monopolistic market will charge us a higher price. So here is the situation. Here is the situation. This is the demand curve for monopolist. This one. If you make a graph, this is the demand curve for a monopolist. Siya. Now, and this is the like the marginal revenue for a monopolist must be at the middle point between the demand curve and the point of origin. That is why Canisia is the projected demand curve for a monopolist. Estimated demand curve somewhere there, lower than the demand curve. Now, if the marginal cost of the either monopolist or the purely competitive market is this one, okay? Now, if that is the marginal cost, to be optimal in our pricing and output decision, we should locate the point where MR is equals to MC. Okay, MR is equals to MC. That is the optimal point. Now in this graph, the MR is this one and the MC is this one. MR is equals to MC at this point. Okay, at this point. But MR is equals to MC, but that is not equal to P here, because P should be equal to demand. Now the demand curve is somewhere at this point. Okay, somewhere at this point. That means to say, if this is the MR is equals to MC, the point where P is equals to MR should be at this particular point. In other words, the monopolist will charge the customer of a price higher than marginal cost or even higher than marginal revenue. So what is the implication there? In other words, if price is higher than marginal revenue or marginal cost, it will be charging price at the upper end of the demand curve. How will the monopolist do that? Ari ko kadiri mo palit nga price. They will use that by providing or like using strategy to convince the customer nga mao gyud ni dinhi ang presyo na imong dawaton. And they have the power to do that. Why? Because they are the only one in the market. Magpatakas sila og presyo. Okay? Magpatakas sila. If they can charge this price, the customer will obey because they are the only one in the market. May makapugong. Okay. They have always the reason why they can offer that. Among price, among cost, dako kayo or marketing cost, etc. No? So, what is the implication to that to the customer? The implication would be the higher the price along the demand curve, the smaller the consumer surplus. Or in other words, magkagamay na magkagamay ang consumer surplus in a monopolistic market. The consumer surplus is the one that really impacts on the buying behavior of the customer if in a monopolistic, in a purely competitive market. But walay mahimo si customer because siya ramang usa sa market. So mapugos gyud siya palit sa presyo na ni adini at point A. Okay? How are we going to like derive that in the analytical way? Okay? Profit maximizing point at under monopoly, very important nga, again, in a monopolistic market, if you say optimal price or optimal Q, we should always be able to locate the point where MR is equals to MC. Maog yun ay beginning. MR is equals to MC. Because from there, malukit na nimo ang price. Okay? If you know this particular point, then you can derive this particular point, which is the pricing decision. Okay. Now, the analytics behind it is like this one. In a monopolist, the R is a function of Q. Why? Because naman sa demand curve, downward sloping. So depende na kung pilay Q i-produce, mo determine po na sa ano. Whereas in the perfectly competitive, R is not a function of Q because whatever is the price, that is the Q. Okay? That is the quantity that mahalin dito sa market in perfectly competitive market. But here in a monopolistic market, mamanipulate ang customer by offering various level of Q. So that means if this is R is equals to Q, you have P times Q is actually equal to R. Okay? P times Q. Q is equal to is here, and P now is a function of Q. No? Depende man na sa demand curve, asa dapita malocate. That is the monopolist revenue. Now, you have this particular equation, this one, you differentiate that totally. Okay? Differentiating that totally, you have a rule in differentiation, the product rule. We apply the product rule in differentiation, which is MR is equals to MC is actually equal to the derivative of R with respect to Q, which is actually this equation. Okay? dP dQ times Q plus, okay, P times dQ dQ. This is not economics. This is mathematics. So this is what we call as the product rule in calculus. Okay? If you want to know how this is derived, then review your differentiation rule in calculus. How this particular equation is differentiated using the product rule, which becomes like this. Differentiating this further, we isolate P here. Isolating P and then get the common factor. So isolating P, you have this particular equation, and furthermore, P is actually equal to dP dQ times Q over P plus 1, because P over P actually equal to 1. Mao nang naay plus 1 dire. Now, there is an interesting story of this quantity. Okay, there is an interesting story of this quantity. dP over dQ times Q over P. What is that? Okay? What is that particular say situation? Particular notation kanisya. This is actually the reciprocal of the elasticity formula. Kanisya, kani. This is the reciprocal of the elasticity formula, because elasticity formula, recall your elasticity formula in module 3, you have change in quantity for every change in price. Okay? That means dQ, dP, pamanay imong elasticity formula. Pero karon dP, dQ, that is the reciprocal of dQ, dP. And then this quantity also is actually in the elasticity formula, that is P over Q. Okay? But in here, it is Q over P. So, reciprocal siya sa imong elasticity formula, which is this one. Okay? Which is this particular, say, value. You have dP dq over q over p is actually equal to 1 over the elasticity kaning sigma elasticity formula. So in other words, kana siya nga quantity which is actually this one, okay, is actually equal to 1 over sigma plus 1. Dana dire kay ana may plus 1 man tudaan. So that means in monopolist marginal revenue, P is actually the MR is actually equal to, you have P times 1 over sigma plus 1 quantity, or MR is actually equal to, you again simplify the whole thing, get the common denominator of that, so you have 1 plus sigma over sigma. In other words, ang MR in under pure monopoly is less than P in pure monopoly. Why? Naa pa man nga quantity ang imong P, multiply pa man nimo ani nga quantity. So dako gyud kag P, which is the reason, that is the reason why ang imong MR is equals to MC must not be equal to P, but P is greater than MR is equals to MC. Di adere greater than MR. Di adere ang imong P, as proven mathematically. No, MR is less than P. P is greater than MR in pure monopoly. Now, given that, please review the calculation. The output rule for monopolists, therefore, should actually be an output level such that MR is a function of Q, or MC is a function of Q, and you have the formula for TR, or shall I say pi, which is TR, this one, and then minus Q, minus the TC, which is this one, and then the P is actually, the optimal P is actually the P equation times the optimal Q. Okay, how do we use that in an equation? Okay, example, no? The same situation. Example, you have here, given that P as a function of Q is equals to 100 minus 2Q. Mo na imong equation for P as a function of Q. And you are also given C as a function of Q is equals to 10 plus 2Q. Okay? 10 plus 2Q. Okay? Remember, this is P, this is C, or cost equation. Now, what we are required to solve for, kanisiya, solve for optimal P, optimal Q, and optimal profit, or pi. Pi star, or pi M, which is monopolistic. Optimal profit for a monopolist. Now, as I said, I'm giving you the solution steps. You can solve this at home, but I'm going to just give you the narratives of the solution. The first step is derive MR and MC. I-derive nimo ang MR, MC. Now, how do you compute for MR? MR in this particular equation here. How? You get TR. Okay? Here, this is P. I-multiply pa na nimo og Q kaning quantity. Okay? Multiply nimo Q. Why? Because TR or R is actually price times Q. Price is this one. This whole thing is the price equation. I-multiply nimo Q to get R or TR, which is a function of Q. And then, after doing that, you solve for the first derivative of TR. Okay, the first derivative of TR with respect to Q. Kaning imong 100 minus 2Q multiplied by Q, ang resulting TR ani. Ang resulting TR. Remember, the resulting TR, okay, the resulting TR is actually 100Q. Remember, or take note. Kani mahimo ni siyang 100Q minus, okay, minus 2Q star. Okay? 2Q, not star, but square. I-multiply naman mo ni og Q. So, mahimo ni 100Q and then 2Q square. Muna imong R or TR. From that equation, get MR, which is the first derivative of your TR with respect to Q. Okay? Pwede na ni mo nga ni, pwede na ni mo ma-oral. That will be easier. 100Q, the first derivative with respect to Q is 100. Okay? And then this one is, ang imo din is 2Q square, may na mo ng 4Q. That becomes 100 minus 4Q. Mao na imong imong MR. Equate that to your MC. Okay. Your MC is actually what? Your MC is actually equal to, you have the equate MR is equals to MC to get Q star. Your MC is actually, since this is C already, what is your MC here? Okay. Any guess? The MC here is actually the first derivative of this one, which is 2. Okay? Which is 2. Actually, the first derivative of this one is 2. Why? Because that one becomes 0. And this first derivative of this with respect to Q is 2. Okay. So that means you have 100, equate that, 100, imagine na rin ako, 100, or yes, 100 minus 4Q, okay, equals 2. O, makuha na ni mong Q. Solve na ni mong Q. So, that Q is actually your optimal Q. Then, substitute the optimal Q or Q star to your profit equation. What is your profit equation? TR minus TC or C. Okay? Ang imong equation sa TR diri, imo lang gamitan og optimal Q minus ani niya siya, then you can get for the pi star. You can also get your optimal Q or optimal P by substituting your Q star with this one. Pila mag-iimong price? Optimal price. Kana siya, makuha nimo na siya ang pila gyud ang price. That is the solution steps. Please solve this because I only explained to you the process. But please solve this using my narratives sa solution, no? Because you will already follow from there. Now, so we have discussed the price and output decision for purely competitive market and price and output decision for a monopolistic market. We have discussed also what are the requisites of a perfectly competitive market, what are the requisites of a monopolistic market. Now, it's very important that between the two, or I mean across perfectly competitive and monopolistic market, ana gyud magsugod ang optimization rule at the point where MR is equals to MC. Mag-differ na lang sila in terms of how you treat for your price and also MR. Okay? Because in monopolist, in pure perfectly competitive market, price is equals to demand is equals to MR is equals to MC. Simple kaayo ang solution. But in monopolistic market, you have MR is equals to MC but not equal to price. Because price is a function of Q. So na diha ang diferensya. Let's proceed a little further, which is the last in a monopolistically competitive market. Mura siyang monopolistic pero competitive siya nga market. Okay? Mura siyang monopolistic market. What is an MCM say situation or monopolistically competitive market situation? Okay? The characteristic is that there are many buyers. Okay? There are many buyers and even sellers. There are many sellers also relatively. But each seller is selling differential products. There is also free entry and exit in the market. But remember, each seller are selling differential product. Okay, what is that? What's the example of that particular market? Now, if some of you have gone to Marikina, or if some of you have gone to like kaning diri sa Laguna, dito sa I forget the name. It's already in my memory. Uh, what is the commonality between the two places? The two places in Marikina, there are shoe manufacturer or shoemakers, no? Manufacturer. Dito po sa Liliw, okay, Liliw, Laguna. Sa Liliw, Laguna, naa po dito'y shoe manufacturer. Kunya, ako, I have experienced that. Kung maato ka sa Marikina, daghan na sila nga shoe manufacturer. Daghan po yung mga buyer, mga dito, daghan na nga to. Maato po ka sa Liliw, daghan po na. Shoe maker, daghan po ng mga buyer, mga to. In fact, ato ko, palit kong sinako nga step in o sapatos dito sa mga babae. Palit ko, siguro mga 5 kasako ang ipalit dito. And then, that market, actually, daghan buyer, daghan pong seller, but it's operating as a monopolistically competitive market. Nga naman, tungod kay each seller is selling differential product. Differentiated sila. Nga naman, kung mayroon ka og uto na sapatos sa babae or step in, uto is different from Celine or different from Rusty Lopez. Naa dito, Rusty Lopez, Celine, Manels, Nangatoy, Uto, and several other shoe manufacturer. So in other words, in the minds of the customer, each seller is differentiated from the other. There is only, Rusty Lopez is not the same as Uto, or Rusty Lopez is not the same as Celine, or is not the same as Manels, something like that. There are many buyers, there are also many sellers, but differentiated from each other. There is free market entry and exit. So it's actually a purely competitive market behaving like a monopolist. Gets niyo? A purely competitive market where the players, the sellers are behaving like a monopolist. So monopolistic market in a way, no? Monopolistic in a market in a way ang ilang operation. Simple. To make matter simple, price and output decision is the same as a monopolist. Okay? Why? Many buyers and sellers. In other words, na violate ang usa ka rule sa perfectly competitive market, which in a purely competitive market, the sellers are selling undifferentiated products. Okay? Why? Wa na sila differentiate. Pareho na sila o customer. Pero in a monopolistically competitive market, na-violate na rule or characteristic. Because each seller is different from the other. Manels, Celine, Rusty Lopez, Uto, and whatever, different from each other. So, kung Celine ka mo palit ng sapatos or Manels ka mo palit ng sapatos or kuan ba ka, Bandolino ba kaya mong gusto, naara yun na anak nga tindahan. Sila ra yun naghimo. Sila rin mabutang sa tatak. So, monopolize nila ang market. So, the output and pricing decision is the same as monopolistic market. So, if you know how to simplify the procedure for pricing and output decision under monopolistic market, maupod na ang procedure for finding the pricing and output decision for a monopolistically competitive market. Mura na sila, that is a monopolist under the cloak of your perfectly competitive market. Pero actually monopolist for the simple reason that each seller, each player in the market is differentiated from the other. Mao po na sa Marikina. Unless otherwise, wa na itatak. No? Sa Marikina, na iban way tatak. Barato ra to, way tatak. Pero tataka na nga ni nga Rusty Lopez ni floor shame ni siya unsa pa nang klase nga sapatos nya exclusive ra gyud ana nga ano di na sila magkompetensya, monopolist sila. Okay? So pareho ra sa simplifying the equation or analytics for a monopolistic market. If you know, sa monopolist, maura po na sa monopolistically competitive market. Okay? So, sorry. Given that, then that's going to be the last part of our module 4. Okay, that means to say in this lecture we have what the last say lecture for module 4. Module 4 is just one whole like one whole lecture, no? One whole lecture, and then we have also a the situation where you have that is also the end of the lecture.